Parents at a school in Brisbane are fighting to have their say about how funds at their children's school are being spent. Seton College in Mount Gravatt has changed the structure and name of the Parents and Friends Committee ahead of the school closing, which, you know, they announced that last year. We talked about it. The school's going to close in 2024. But recently, they've merged the P&F committee with the school board. This is a move that parents say has changed the balance of power. They also say this is part of the plan by Brisbane's Catholic Education to dissect the school bit by bit. We did invite Catholic Education on the program this morning for a chat, but they have declined that invitation. Raylene Moore is secretary of the Save Our Seton group. Raylene, good morning.
Good morning, Rebecca.
First of all, just remind us about Seton College and what makes it particularly unique.
Okay, so Seton's been going for about 60 years as an inclusive school for children who need a little bit of extra help with their schoolwork, whether it's because they have a disability or they have simple learning problems like dyslexia or something like that. And Seton's always been a way that those children can get a Catholic education in a small group environment, and that they can catch up or get help to keep up with other students.
A lot of the parents that I've spoken to about Seton say that this is a unique place where children can get sort of support and education that is unique to Seton. They can't get it at other institutions, and we're sort of shocked and disappointed that the school was going to close. Why is Seton College closing?
It depends on who you ask at BCE, and it depends on the day as to which answer you get. We've been told the one reason they've given us is that enrolment's dropped, which is not true, because the enrolment's only dropped because the Brisbane Catholic Education changed the enrolment policy, and so they actually stopped accepting any students that didn't have a verified disability. So therefore they locked out a lot of students from attending the school. So that's why enrolment's dropped, because they didn't accept students. Now they're saying that it's because the school is not inclusive. Well, the school was inclusive before they introduced this rule of only accepting children with verified disabilities. So it's all a bit confusing.
Why do you think Seton's closing?
I think possibly it's not making enough money for them. Seton school fees are a lot less than most other private schools, which has allowed a lot of us who can't afford those fees to be able to give our children a great education. It's a small school. It's capped at about 320 students, which for kids who have sensory issues or disabilities and things means that it's just a wonderful, safe space for them. Children who have problems with loud noises or with large groups of people would really struggle at a mainstream school where you can have, 800 to 1,000 students or more. Whereas at Seton, there's small class sizes, so the kids are comfortable, they can be catered for, they can have their learning tailored to suit what their abilities are.
Seton College, it is closing. It's in Mount Gravatt. It's a Catholic school, and it'll be open, according to Catholic Education, they're shooting for a 2024 closure. That means in the meantime that there's still children there learning. There's still a role for parents and friends. What has changed about the P&F committee, Raylene?
Well, in 2008, they changed the P&F committee to what they called the Seton Collaborative. It had a great big long name. But basically what it meant is that the school had a lot more control over how the money was spent. And what's ended up happening is that over the last Christmas holidays, there was $52,000 of the Seton Collaborative's money spent on upgrades to the school that wasn't approved by the parents. So we've paid our fees for this, and yet we were given no say in how this money was being spent.
What was the money being spent on that you didn't approve of?
They upgraded the library and they put a new shade sail in. which is really interesting for a school that they're saying they're going to close in a few years. But anyway, so, we just would have, the parents obviously would like some consultation on whether that's the best way to spend this money.
So nominations, I understand, are open for the executive committee.
They were advertised as being open, but then because the 3 executive members resigned, BCE has now come back and said that because those 3 members have resigned, there is no way to elect a new committee, apparently. So they've just disbanded it.
Would love to talk to Brisbane Catholic Education, obviously, to understand some of the thinking and the strategy behind this, but they've declined our invitation. That remains open to them, of course. You are listening to Raylene Moore, who's Secretary of the Save Our Seton group. The school is due to close in 2024. Are you concerned that the deadline is going to be brought forward, Raylene?
That is always a risk, and it is something we are concerned about, yes, because for the children who are lucky enough to finish their education there, if it gets closed, then we may have, months to find a new school, which is really, as everyone would know, it's very hard to get into other schools, especially when your child has special needs. Has
Seton, though, given any indication that date may change? And by the way, is it will close at the end of 2024? What's the actual hard sort of timeline you've been given?
We've been told the end of 2024. And look, at the moment they are saying that it will stay open until the end of 2024. They are saying that is dependent, of course, on the parents and students that are currently at the school staying at the school. So they've sort of put it back on us. Now, most of us are more than happy to stay at the school, but there are students who are currently in grade 8 who are not going to get to finish grade 12, so they're going to have to leave at the end of grade 10 or 11, which makes it really hard because to start at a new school in grade 11 means that they haven't done the prerequisite subjects in grade 10 and things, so some of these students may be forced to leave. Which then means BCE is going to say, well, you guys haven't stayed, so we could possibly close early. So it's a real catch-22 for us.
Do you feel like you've been listened to by Catholic Education in terms of saying, we feel like what you do is so valuable, so important, we're worried that we won't be able to get this kind of care and inclusivity and support at another school environment, indeed another Catholic school environment?
We've been unable to get BCE to sit down and have meetings with us. They had some parent forums when they initially announced that the school was closed, but they were very carefully orchestrated. We were only allowed to have one question each and there was only limited numbers there and things like that. We have tried to talk to them since then and they've refused to have meetings with us.
Why?
I would love to know. Because, we all have so many questions about our children and future children, We want our children to have a good education. We would like our children to have some of our children to have a Catholic education. And this is really going to be limiting that because, what other options are there? And can they guarantee us that there's going to be options like Seton available? And they can't promise us that.
Raylene, we'll keep asking questions. We'll keep in touch this morning. Thanks for bringing us up to date.
Thank you for listening. Thanks, Rebecca.
Raylene Moore, Secretary of the Save Our Seton group.
This is ABC Radio Brisbane with Rebecca Livingston.